All right. Well, welcome everybody. This is the September the 10th, 2024 Town Board meeting of the Town of Red Hook. Would you please, I will welcome you to give the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to have a relatively short meeting. This being the first meeting of the month, we will go over the supervisor's financial report for the month of August. There's a town clerk's report for the month of August. We have a few announcements. We have a public comment period, which I'm going to move below the two public hearings that we have scheduled, because one's scheduled for 7:30 and the other's for 7:35. And then we have some resolutions for hardship moratoriums, discussion of the sewer district law, the water testing quality proposal, which we talked about at the last meeting, and then a resolution to approve the water district rates as discussed previously. So we'll get right to it. So the report, the main things, has people had a chance, an opportunity to review the financials?
Yes.
Okay, so, there we go. So the opening balance was $8,169,299. We got $788,726 in receipts. We made disbursements of a total of $960,305, which gives us a balance in the town of $7,997,720.82. So that's where we are as of August 31st. Are there any questions about any of the adjustments that were made to the A, B, DB, any of the funds? I think they're fairly transparent. You know, there's some reductions and some increases to cover various costs. Let's see. Those are the budget adjustments, and then here's the line items. If anybody's any questions, please let me know. Various different funds going. And then this is for the vouchers for UDM.
Yeah.
Okay. And unfortunately, in the packet doesn't have the actual town clerk's. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, they added.
Oh,
It's
okay,
that
I'll
way.
just do it first, okay.
So if you want to please tell us about the
Do you
vouchers.
want to adopt the supervisor's report?
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Do I have a motion from anybody to adopt the supervisor's report?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Okay.
Okay, so next we have the vouchers for the month.
Okay. I certify that vouchers numbered 32405 to 32476, totaling $147,290.49, processed in the month of August 24, are an accurate reporting of the abstracts approved for payment by the town board.
And then your report.
Okay. Town clerk's report for the period of August 1st through August 31st, 2024. Total shares remitted to the supervisor, $7,433.02. Amount paid to New York State Agriculture and Markets for the Spay-Neuter Program, $29. Amount paid to New York State Department of Health for marriage licenses, $90. Amount paid to New York State Environmental Conservation for hunting and fishing licenses, $2,406.48. Total state, county, and local revenues, $9,958.50.
And I so move to adopt the clerk's report. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, Jacob Beach, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. few quick announcements. 28th will be Tivoli Street Painting Day. If you haven't been, it's a lot of fun. The main Broadway is closed with big squares that myself and other members of the board go out and paint in black, and then they give out free chalk, and people do different artwork, so it's a lot of fun. So that's on the 28th. And we recommend that you register in advance because they do run out of spaces. And then there's a food drive that's being done by the VFW tomorrow afternoon and early evening. And these are some of the items that, obviously canned goods, cereals, dried goods, coffee, sugar, that they're sponsoring. And then the VFW will be having their pancake breakfast Sunday the 15th. I'm getting hungry just reading this. So there's always a lot to eat.
I would just add, I think we mentioned it at the last meeting, that Hearts Gravel Day is this coming Saturday.
This Saturday,
In
yeah.
the village. It's primarily a music festival, also other sort of sundry booths and displays. And it goes from sometime kind of mid-morning, starting with the kids' activities, 10 o'clock I think, all the way up through music in the evening. So it should be a good time.
And they always have good music.
Good
Thank
night.
you for bringing that up. So at this time, I'm just going to skip over public comments, just deal with these hearings first, and then we can open it up for public comments. Deanna, if you would be so kind as to read the notice of the public hearing regarding the Water District 1 rate increase.
Notice of public hearing, Town of Red Hook. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Red Hook on September 10th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. local time to hear all interested persons on proposed modification of the water rates and charges for Water District Number 1. The Red Hook Water Board has recommended modification of the water rates and charges to increase the minimum rate from $52 to $54.60 for up to 9,000 gallons and from $6.30 to $6.62 per 1,000 gallons over 9,000, as further set forth in the schedule on file with the town clerk. All interested persons will be given an opportunity to be heard in person or by directing comments in writing to the town board, 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York. All reasonable accommodations will be made for persons with disabilities. In such a case, please notify the town clerk in advance at the above address or by phone 845-758-4606 so that arrangements can be made. By order of the town board of the town of Red Hook dated September 12th, 2023.
Oh, that needs to be
That's
corrected.
probably not correct. It'll be August 30th, 2023. That was when it was posted.
Okay.
Oh, August 28th was the meeting, August 28th. Sorry, by order of the town board of the town of Red Hook dated August 28th, 2023. Deanna Cochran.
24.
2024, oh God. August 28th, 2024. Deanna Cochran, town of Red Hook, town clerk.
Thank you. Let's make the pen name change on that.
Goodness gracious.
I'm going to make a motion that we open the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody who has any comments from the public? Seeing none, Deanna, did we get any correspondence, any written comments?
No, nothing.
In that case, I'll move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we'll come back to that resolution later. Let's see. The next one.
Excuse me, who seconded to open?
I did.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
The second public hearing is on a moratorium hardship waiver. Again, if you would be so kind as to read that, Deanna, appreciate it.
Notice of public hearing, Town of Red Hook. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Town Board of the Town of Red Hook on September 10th, 2024 at the respective time set forth below or as soon thereafter as the matter comes before the board at the Town Hall, 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York. to hear all interested persons on the application received on the date set forth below from the application set forth below for a hardship waiver of the provisions of local law number 1 of 2024 entitled a local law placing a moratorium on applications in the TNDCC subdistrict, on applications for subdivision in the AB district, and on applications affecting wetlands, adopted March 27, 2024. The requests for waiver concern the following. Public hearing time 7:35, owner and application date M&T Bank, August 23, 2024, property tax parcel 7280 South Broadway, 1 acre. Tax parcel 1348889-6272-00-269271. Please take further notice that copies of said proposed waiver applications are available for review at the Town Hall, 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York. All interested persons will be given an opportunity to be heard in person or by directing comments in writing to the Town Board at 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook. All reasonable accommodations will be made for persons with disabilities. In such a case, please notify the town clerk in advance at the above address or by phone so that arrangements can be made. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Red Hook, dated August 28, 2024, Deanna Cochran, Town Clerk, Town of Red Hook.
Thank you, Deanna. Would somebody like to make a motion to open that public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Is there anybody that would like to speak about this waiver application? Deanna, did we receive any correspondence?
No, we did not.
Okay, in that case, I'll make a motion that we close this public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Pen just died. So, thank you very much. The public comment period, does anybody, I've moved it to, before we get into the meat of the meeting.
Any public comments?
Any public comments? No? Okay. In that case, we'll move right along. So our first order of business is the resolution to set a public hearing for hardship moratorium waivers. We received 2 additional applications. One was for a residence at the golf club, and the other was for a property on Spring Lake Road, which is an abandoned paper mill. And we have to set a public hearing for those applications. I did send out to the board members some information about that from Time Bond, but we'd like to set public hearings for them at our next meeting, which is September 25th. And how about we do the first one at 7:35 and the second one at called 7:40.
I think sometimes in the past we've done them concurrently. I don't know
Well,
what's easier.
These are separate.
Oh, they're
They
separate.
continue
they're separate.
overnight.
Okay.
So,
These are,
do we have the resolution?
well, this one,
This is number public hearing.
that one, right? This is for the public hearing, set a public hearing.
This is for.
This is for the
Golf
remaining,
Bonnet.
yeah, that's the one at the golf course,
And then
right?
there's another one back here
Oh,
for
okay.
turf golf.
So that would be resolution
86.
86 for
Bond ends.
the bond ends. I'll make a motion that we pass the resolution to set the public hearing
This is 7:35.
at
This one.
7:35. Resolution 86, do I have a second?
Second.
My only question is that it says in the resolution 7:30.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Well, then we'll just leave it at what it says.
Okay.
Okay. Make it 7:30 then. So that's resolution number 86. Okay.
You guys can change it if it's convenient, we'll just retype the resolution, that's not a big deal.
No, it's fine. Did I make that motion in a second?
I think you did.
Okay. Did we all vote?
Can you second it?
I'll second. Sure.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So the next one will be a
Second.
resolution for number 87, which is a hearing, to schedule a hearing for a hardship moratorium for the 307 Spring Lake Road. me see if that's on here. Wait, that's,
And this one also says.
Oh, there-
72, page 72.
page 72. I'm trying to keep it. Oh, it's not showing me the page
Almost
No,
number.
there.
no,
Yeah,
sorry,
keep
that's a
going.
different one.
Keep going, keep going,
I think that was in the supplement.
keep going,
That's the M&T. So I don't know why the M&T one's up here first.
because that was on the agenda.
Yeah. Well,
Is this what you want?
All
This
the
is
way,
one.
sorry, all the way at the bottom, Bill,
okay.
because it was added late,
Oh, was added late, okay.
81, 81.
That's for,
That's one we just did.
that's the one we just did.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of attachments, so keep going.
that's the Bonds, that's right. Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going.
This,
There's some maps.
This is still on.
This
This
is
is
still
still
bonds.
bonds,
Yeah, there's some
okay.
maps, and then you're getting
Go all the
close
way to
to
the bottom and then go back. It's really the last thing in the packet that I have.
That might be
It's
it right there.
83, page one.
is it TN?
Unless
This
you
is
have-
it, right there.
Okay,
We got it, I think.
yes,
We got it.
okay. So this will be resolution number 87. To set a public hearing for, Liam Turkle, that was the applicant over on Spring Lake Road. Any questions before we were just scheduling a public hearing, so.
Right.
So this one should be, I should say, does this one say
It
7:35?
says 7:30, so we want to change this.
This one we have to change
And we
7:35.
need to add the date also, right?
Yes, it will be dated for today.
Well, no, this public hearing is going to
The
be
pub-
our next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting, but the resolution to establish it.
Yeah.
And that'll be at September 25th. We're going to make that for 7:35, because we can't have both of them at the same time. Here's his application for the variance. And this is just because they have to go to the zoning board of appeals, because they're asking for a waiver of, and they can't unless they get a waiver from us on the moratorium.
Did you put the date of the public hearing, public notice in here too? Item 2,
He said,
Those 10 days, it'll be the 15th.
on or before 9:15.
Okay. Wait a second.
The hearing will be the 25th.
Fifth,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's at 35.
Notice is 10 days.
yeah, okay. So that's 10 days before, it's the 20th. 15th.
15th, yeah.
Okay, so that's the Turkles. And all that information regarding this application is in the packet, including our engineer's report and their request to the zoning board. So, do I have a motion to accept resolution 87 to set this public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, so that one's set. Okay, and that one will have to make the change on the time because
Right.
it was the same.
Okay, so when do you want to do the M&T one?
We might as well just do that right now. Because it actually, because it wasn't listed on here and it needed to be.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to do is a resolution to give a waiver, moratorium waiver to the M&T Bank. We had our public hearing, and that would be resolution number 88 for M&T. Before a motion's made, is there any questions, any comments?
I thought the engineer's letter was quite straightforward for this one.
Yeah, and just so you know, M&T called the building department today, they wanted to know whether they're in Syracuse, whether they should come. And they said they wanted to make sure it's understood, they're not even changing the lighting. This is really a minimal, it's mostly landscaping, driveways, it's a minimal amount of work, so. We just did the public
We
hearing.
did the one for this
Yeah,
one.
we did the
okay.
public hearing for
All right.
this. So, since we've
not
accomplished
on.
all that
Okay.
administrivia, do I have a motion to grant a moratorium waiver to M&T Bank?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
This is number 88.
Yes, 88. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that motion, that resolution is passed, and M&T Bank has received their waiver. Deanna, do you contact the applicants to inform them, or does the building department?
Usually I think the building, I let Brandon know.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's here, when they're here, they obviously find out, but
Right.
sometimes they're not here.
Yeah, I actually let Brandon know and I get him the certified
Okay,
resolution.
terrific. Okay, so that covers the moratoriums. So the next item on our agenda is the sewer district use law, and we pull that up. Okay, has everybody had a chance to see it?
To see that.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
87 pages
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
And,
I have not made my way through the whole thing yet.
okay, well, you
I
can't
would
do
say,
it in one
I would say
sitting.
seeing is the appropriate.
Yeah, well, that's why, that's what,
We have
I
received
chose
it.
my words carefully.
Yeah.
I did read it, and I would say that it's not something to be consumed in one sitting. It takes a few. It's a lot of boilerplate language.
I'll go through.
Yeah, there's a lot of boilerplate language, and for the purposes, for the public, you know, we've established a sewer district number 1 in the T&D. And the next thing that has to happen is we actually have to codify the rules and regulations of how that sewer district will operate. Just like we have a water district and it has rules, a law. So we have, this is the draft law for our sewer district. It's got a lot of boilerplate language. It was sent to the village last week, and they're reviewing it now, and we fully expect comments back from them, but we would like to set a public hearing for it for next meeting, which we think is likely to carry on into October. But we want to get this going because even if we were to come up with the money to build this sewer, I don't think we could put a shovel in the ground until the law was established. There's details in this law about, you know, how connections are made.
Right.
And this is a much more complicated law than a water district law because there's all the science about all the things you can't put in a sewer. So,
And Bill, if I
Yeah,
could just add
sure.
as well, you may need to repeat this, but there are a couple of things we have to consider in drafting this law. One is there's a model law and there's the village's version of that model law that they adopted. We have an IMA
with the village.
with the village for the use of the village treatment plant. We have to, in accordance with the IMA, adopt a sewer reuse regulation that's substantially based on the villages, but of course there are differences because of the way that the town's district works. So we have to account for those and account for the differences in you know, the town system. In addition to that, I would say that you should be aware that the village has to require us to do this because they have to do this to be in compliance with their own species permit.
Yeah, for their speed use permit. And I'm assuming that this draft is modeled closely to the villages in a lot of areas?
It is in many areas, yes. And again, in turn, their law is modeled on the
State.
model law.
Right. So,
Of course, there are differences for the step systems.
yeah, of course, and there's, yeah, because there are different kinds of sewers. But in my reading it, I didn't go back and look at the villages, but it read to me that there's a lot of this that came from the villages law, which makes sense because we're going to be using their treatment plant. But they just got this a week before or so, and so they're going to have to review it, and I can't imagine they won't have a request for certain language changes and other things that our council will be working with them to effectuate. But we want to get a public hearing going so that we can start that process. So
We have a draft resolution.
we have a draft resolution, which is in what?
89?
Yes.
There will be 89.
Which were to change the time, because it says 7:30.
Okay, that one we will change to 7.
I don't know whether we keep sticking that in, we should have blanks there.
Yeah, we should have blanks in hand, right? Yeah, this should be 7:40, because we did a 7, we did a 7:30, 7:35.
Right, so this was 4.
This will be 7:40 on September the 25th. It'll be resolution 89. Since I'm a sewer guy, I'm going to make the motion that we set this public hearing for September 25th at 7:40. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Any questions, any further discussion we want to have about the sewer? We'll be talking a lot about it.
I just had a question about where the public can find the draft law on the website. Is it within the packet or is it a separate link?
It's an addendum to the packet, so when you go, actually I can show everybody on here. Is it that one? Is it that one? Okay, here it is. So it was not in the meeting and we had added this addendum to
Okay.
it. So now it's publicly
So
available.
if you go to the meeting.
Yeah, if you go to the meeting
Right.
and then you scroll below the town board meeting packet, that's the law.
Great.
And Brandy Nelson, our town engineer, will be coming to give a presentation about this
Okay.
at the next meeting.
Good.
So, we need her to explain a few things to us. There's a lot to that law, and there's a lot of science and issues about, like I said, what you can and can't put into a sewer, how it operates, expectations for certain kinds of issues. So, so she will be here. So thank you for...
The review, it starts off good and then
Well, 87 pages is like,
Yeah.
although in fairness, some of the reason it's 87 and maybe not 82 is because of the draft changes that make all the indentations, but it'll still be a long law,
yeah.
no matter what. So, thank you for that, setting that public hearing. The next item on the agenda is the water quality testing proposal, which was discussed at our last meeting. Trying to find it. Recall.
Right after the public hearing.
Yeah, I'll get there.
We're almost there.
Here it is. So Karen Schneller McDonald had written to us requesting some funding for something for the Salkill watershed community to do water testing in the Salkill, which is, as a reminder to everybody, that is the primary water source for Bard College. So it is the primary source for over 2,000 people. And they would like to do a more in-depth sampling and testing of the water there. And we had talked previously, if I recall, about, has people had a chance to think about it, whether they would want to fund this?
Well, I think one of our questions was whether it was really necessary to do the test at all 15 sites. And they didn't really address that
Okay,
in
in this,
their answer.
okay.
Yeah, I went back and looked at them side by side because
Oh, you
I
did? Okay.
couldn't remember sort of what was originally proposed. And the rationale, and I think what is proposed to be done is pretty similar, but the price tag is going down. So I
Well,
assume
that's the
they
one thing I
found
know.
some cost
Right.
there.
Yeah,
Because it was like
originally-
10,000.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was like
It
15,000.
was more like 10.
Oh, I knew it was in double digits.
Yeah,
I knew it was.
It was 10, now it's 6.
Now
Yeah.
it's 6.
So,
And it does raise the question, is, how did they manage to bring it down
right,
if you're doing the same amount of testing?
right. So I assume maybe they found some other sources of funding. I mean, I think that at the last meeting, Robert indicated that because they have this longitudinal data at all of those sites, that they wanted to be able to see all 15.
Okay, for all of it, I know.
Well, they were talking about having funding for, I think, 4 of the sites or something like that,
Yeah.
too. So I'm wondering if this number reflects that funding that already existed. if
That's
this
what
is
I was
going
wondering,
to
but it didn't
be
really say that in here.
Well, the question,
Or whether they're gonna do, oh, I get, okay, maybe this is it, because maybe they only want to do the PFAS at 5 places now.
I guess the question I had, though, was since it is the primary water source for Bard College, is...
And other residents.
Yes, but I'm just curious what contribution the college has made to this project. Plus, they have a fairly considerable environmental studies program there. They're involved in water testing throughout the township. So,
But in their, both of the information sheets that they gave us, that the BARD lab cannot do.
they
It's
can't, the
more
lab can't,
advanced
yeah, the lab
testing,
can't do it,
right.
but they could throw some money towards it. And since the price came down, it doesn't indicate whether, the cut price came because they got money from other sources or whether they found a cheaper way to do the testing.
So are you suggesting that we wait until the 25th?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be my humble suggestion, but, we're a board, so.
I mean, I had that same question at the last meeting, and upon reviewing the revised proposal or amended proposal, I sort of talked myself into the fact that BART is invested in this project over the long haul through the fact that, they have this partnership where their facilities are supporting the ongoing testing, and that, the amount that they're asking for is not astronomical. It's clearly in the best interest of the town to have this data, so I could get behind it, I think, at this price tag, but I am also fine waiting to get a little more information if you're more comfortable with
It's only 2 weeks, or less. I would like an answer as to whether BARD is making a contribution.
To this particular set of
yeah,
assessments.
because they've made contributions to the purchase of the original tank.
Right.
I mean, they have a vested financial interest in that, because we are their secondary water source, and their backup water source. So that's why I just sort of, back in my mind was like, well, maybe they have already come up, maybe they were the ones that lowered the price. I don't know.
Right.
But we can get that answer.
Yeah.
I think this can wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think they said they wanted to do it in November. So.
Yeah, and I think that, yeah, so I think we have
Yeah.
time. I don't see a lot of agency in that.
Yeah.
So we
I'm
will-
okay if we wait. I don't think 2 weeks is going to make a big
Yeah.
difference.
Agreed.
Okay.
So we'll put this back on the
Yeah.
agenda for the
For-
next meeting?
We'll put it on the
Okay.
agenda for September 25th.
Okay.
Okay. And the last item on our agenda is the resolution to approve the water district rates, which we had our public hearing. This will be resolution 90.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in our packet. Let me just see.
It's just like
There we go.
And the next one has the rates, if you want to show the table.
Oh, there's the rates.
There it is,
Okay,
yeah.
'cause they're in the language, they're in the narrative, but
Right.
here's the actual. So, before I make a motion, since I'm the liaison to the water department to do this, does there anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, discussion?
Well, just to point out that this is part of a 5-year plan that they've put together. And of course, any rate increase is a rate increase, but it is fairly minimal.
And-
So if we stick to the
Yeah, we still.
5-year plan, then you're not going to end up with one large rate
No.
increase along the way. So
And the other thing to remind the public is that the water district has a reserve. It's a healthy reserve, but it's not a huge reserve. And the purpose of the reserve is to deal with emergencies. And we've had a few, and they can be expensive. And we're looking at an issue of having the tank, we talked about having the tank repainted and the things we passed something to fund the water department to do the tank inspection.
right.
And so the reserve also helps to cover that. So the rate increase, I moved here from a large municipality, and I can tell you that our water rates are actually quite reasonable compared to many municipalities. And I think it's a prudent financial thing to do. I know that sometimes things going up is troublesome for people, but given the quality of our water and actually the quality of the service that we deliver to our customers in our 498 homes that are serviced by this water district, I don't think it's unreasonable. And we did bifurcate if you recall, they originally wanted a certain percentage and we cut it in half. And then we pushed it during the pandemic.
Right.
They were on an April schedule, and
Yeah.
we pushed it 6 months behind and another 6 months behind. So we did our best to soften the blow.
Right.
So,
And still, for the base of 9,000 gallons, it's only $2.60.
yeah, it's,
And then 32 cents more for
If you
1,000
would-
as you
yeah.
go over that. So
yeah, I don't think
it's pretty minimal.
Yeah, I think it is. And it will help the reserve fund considerably, because there's going to be some big expenses coming. They already started to come, and just the nature of a system parts of it are almost 80 years old. So I am then going to move to pass resolution number 90 to raise the rates at the Water District 1. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so that resolution passes, that's resolution 90. And I believe,
I should point you to that meeting.
you know, some of the stuff in the packet did get a little, I just want to make sure there's, yeah, they were a little bit out of order, but
Yeah,
that's okay. All right, and so, unless anybody has anything else to discuss, then I will make a motion that we close this meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your evenings.
Record.